In the last video, we saw how can we how can we define a function with more than one input arguments. It is important to know that the order of the input argument is really important. So whatever argument at the call time, for example, if you call this particular function, the name of the function is f. That's not a great name. You should have a name that is descriptive, but I recommend to write good names. Let's say this is f, that's a function, and the very first variable is c2, the second variable is c1, the third variable is c3. Now let's say call this function like this, let's say 2, 4, and 9. What will happen is this 2 will be copied in c2, this 4 will be copied in this c1, and this 9 will be copied in this c3. Now c2 has a value 2, c1 has a value 4, and c3 has a value 9. If you change the symbols or the variables order here, whatever order you have written there, the first value that is passed at the call time will be passed to the first variable, whatever the name of the first variable is. The second value at the call time is copied in the second symbol, whatever the name of the symbol is. So this ordering is really important. One way to one workaround for this is at the call time you actually define the variable names and their values. For example, you call f and you say, okay, c1 has this particular value, but this way you need to know that there is the symbol name in definition is exactly c1. So c1 has this value, c2 has this value, c3 has this value. Once you, at the call time, if you have defined your variable names along with their values, then you are order free. Now you change whatever, if for example you call this way, c2 is b, c1 is a. Now no matter in what order you have called these, this c1 is going to be copied in c1, this c2 is going to be copied in c2, and this c3 is going to be copied in c3. For the functions that has many more arguments, it is good to call the function in this particular way if there is a chance that calling a function in a different order may become confusing and stuff like so. This actually gives you more grip on this ordering issue. If you're happy with, if you're very smart and you say, okay, I will always supply in a particular order, I will always read the document string first and then I will call that function, that's okay. Otherwise, this is also a feature that is available. At the call time, you assign the values of the functions that are there at the definition time, and now no matter in what order you are calling that function, c1 occurs at third position, c2 occurs at first position, the relative values will be copied according to their names. So and that's a good feature, that's a very good feature. Let's see, for example, a running example of this in Python, in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, define, let's say function f. Let's say it receives a, b, and c. Let's say 3 values. And let's say it prints a is, let's say it's print a is a. And you say, okay, b is b. And then it prints, okay, C is whatever the value of C is. That's a C. Okay. Now let's call this function f with, let's say, 2, 3, and game. So we will say, okay, A is 2, B is 3, C is game. Fine, great. Now this 2 will be copied in A no matter what. If we change this calling order, for example, if we if we change this order, we just move to this particular order. We just say okay, this is 3, this is game, this is 2. If we call like so, now 3 will be copied in A, game will be copied in B, and 2 will be copied in C. And that, if that is the behavior you want, then you are good to go. Otherwise, it is handy to call the function in the following way to just fix. Okay, A is 2, fine. B is 3, and C is, let's say, game. If you want these numbers. Now, if you call the function like so, that will happen. Now, if you change the order, no matter what order at the calling time you come up with, it will stay the same. For example, you go and say, okay, C is at the first position, and A is at the second position, let's say 2, and B is at the third position, 3. The output will stay the same. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's one way of handling with the order. If you think at call time it is important to define the variable names, but it has one problem, that you need to know exact variable names. If the variable name is C1 there, you need to know what it's C1. You need not to, the C1 matches with C, it must match with C1. C2 must match with C2, and so on. So you need to know these names. Okay, great. In the upcoming videos, more features of functions are going to be discussed. So stay with us. Hope to see you in the next video.